Station, this is Houston. Are you ready for the event?
Station, I am ready for the event.
European Space Agency, this is Mission Control Houston. Please call station for a voice check.
Standing by.
Call now for a voice check.
Station, this is ESA PAO in London. How do you hear me?
Good afternoon, Jules. This is Tim on the International Space Station. I hear you loud and clear.
Good afternoon, Jules.
Great, Tim. Good to see you. We're here in the Tower Hotel in London, and I give the floor to Tim Hutchins.
Tim, hi, namesake here. We spoke back in November, I think it was, when this was all announced. How's your fitness? You happy with the way things are?
Absolutely, yes. The fitness training is going well. Preparation for the London Marathon on Sunday have gone well. And I'm feeling good. You know, we have a great training team that support us up here in everything we do, and that includes our physical condition. So they've been keeping me in good shape.
We have Libby and John here, of course, from #Team Astronaut, but we also have a packed room, Tim, waiting to ask you questions, so we'll get straight into that. The photographers, we would like to have a quick shot with you first, though, Tim. If you could give us the old 1 in a million, #1 in a million, finger up, and Libby as well will stand in front so that we can get a shot of the pair of you. John, you're running, you better do it as well.
Gosh, it doesn't. It's not left.
It's left hand, Libby.
Left hand, Libby.
Come on, Libby. We've got our still photographers, Tim, snapping away. We'll be right with you.
Okay, go on. No, that's pressing. Go on.
Thank you very much indeed, gents. And we would ask you to refrain from taking any more photos so that we can have good sound quality for the next 15, 20 minutes. Thank you very much indeed. Tim, thanks for your patience and indeed for that gesture. Without any further ado, let's open it up to questions. And of course, first of all, it is my good old friend Steve Cram here in the room with us from BBC Television, the host broadcaster, who would like to ask you a couple of questions, I believe. Steve.
Hi, Tim. Yes, Steve Cram here from BBC Sport. You're one of tens of thousands who are going to be taking part in your own unique way on Sunday. Most of them will probably say they haven't done enough training. Do you fall into the same category, and what particular issues have you been facing?
Hello, Steve. It's great to be talking to you this afternoon. And yeah, I've got a guilty admission. I probably do fall into that same category. I don't think you can ever do enough training for a marathon, but I've certainly been putting in the miles on the T2 treadmill, is what we call it up here on the space station. And I've done a few half marathons and a little bit longer distance than that as well. So I'm comfortable that I can get on and run the marathon on Sunday. But I'm sure there'll be a few points where I'll be wishing I did a bit more training.
Well, most people have something that's going to keep them going on Sunday. For some, it'll be the cause they're running for. For some, it'll be maybe the finish line. I know you've got a brilliant view out of the window, but what is going to keep you going in your own particular marathon? Music you listen to or things you're thinking about? What will keep you motivated?
You know, that's a great question. I think there's a number of things that are going to keep me motivated. And one of the you know, main memories I have of 1999 when I ran the London Marathon before was the atmosphere and the crowd and the other competitors taking part, and that spirit really lifted me the entire way through the race. So in order to try and get some of that up here on board the space station, I've got a couple of things. Firstly, I've got the Run Social app, so I'll actually be looking at the route that I'm running, and I'll be running alongside everybody else else who's running the digital version of the London Marathon. And also, hopefully, I'll get the telly sent up to the space station as well. So at times, I'll be able to actually see what's going on with the real race down in London, which will be a huge boost to me to be able to know that I'm running alongside everyone down there. And of course, people like John and Libby who are running alongside me, and everybody from Team Astronaut, from the Prince's Trust as well. It's great to know that I've got all that support down there, and I'm running for a great cause that will keep me going.
Thank you, Tim. Next question is from BBC News. Do we have BBC News here? Right, we have a no-show from BBC News. ITN. ITN, if you could just identify yourself, please, and then ask Tim the question. Thank you.
Tim, Paul Davis from ITV News. Just picking up on the point you were making to Steve there. Is it right to say that the greatest challenge that you will face is that while all the runners down here will be buoyed by the crowds and their fellow runners, isn't it going to be a very lonely experience for you up there on your treadmill?
I guess you could say that, but I'm pretty used to life on board the space station now. I've been over 4 months up here, and of course I have got my other crewmates who will be popping into Node 3 where I'll be running the race, and they'll be cheering me on at times and giving me some motivation as well, I'm sure. You know, I'll also have some music to listen to, and I'll have plenty of things to keep me motivated. And I really think that, you know, getting to run the on the Run Social app and with the telly occasionally, that's going to give me a real lift and it'll keep me going. Unfortunately, the treadmill isn't located by the window, so the one thing I won't be able to do is actually look out the window and look at planet Earth as I run the race. So I'll have to save that for after the race.
Thank you, Tim. The next question is from Good Morning Britain, Ranveer Singh, who is also running on Sunday. Ranveer.
Yes. Hello, Tim. What a pleasure to speak to you. It's Ranveer Singh from... Hi, Tim. It's Ranveer Singh from ITV Good Morning Britain. The clear advantage you have is on Sunday that you won't have to queue up for the loos before 10 o'clock, so congratulations on that win. But the one thing that's keeping me going, I'm going to be terrible on Sunday, I'm quite sure, is the fact that my family is right at the end, and a big hug from them will hopefully keep me going. How are you coping without your family?
It's great to talk to you. That's a good question. And just to pick up on your first point, I'm actually running right next to the loo up here on the space station, so there certainly won't be a queue for it. I'm quite fortunate that once a week we get a video link with our family, and mine will be after the race on Sunday. So although I won't be actually able to hug them, I'll be able to go and have a video call with them and speak to them in Houston, which will be great. I'll really be looking forward to that throughout the race. And I can also call them on the phone anytime as well. We have great communication up here on board the space station with our friends and family.
It's great you'll have that virtual family support, Tim. Next question from Channel 5 News.
Hi, Tim. Minnie Stevenson from Channel 5 News. Now, we all know that showering in space is challenging, and we're wondering how you're planning to soak your muscles post-marathon. Yours concern of Channel 5 News.
Well, you know, yeah, cleaning in space is just a little bit like camping. We have a hot water dispenser and flannels and towels, and that does the job, really, of all of our personal hygiene. But in terms of recovery from a race or from running training, actually weightlessness, I think, is one of the perfect environments, because the moment you stop running and the moment you get off that bungee system, your muscles are in a completely relaxed state. And I do think that we recover faster up here from any kind of aches or sprains, any muscular problems. I think do recover quite quickly up here.
What a marathon playlist and what's on it?
your question was a bit clipped there, but I think it was about my music playlist, and that's something that I've been gradually tweeting out over the mission in a competition called Space Rocks, and there are 75 of my favorite tracks on that list, and I think most of them are already out there now, so you can go and have a look at that. But there's a whole mix of things. I've got a rather varied and sometimes eclectic taste in music, so it's a bit of everything on there.
Thank you, Tim. Channel 4 News is next in line. Yes.
Hi, Tim. Tom Clark here from Channel 4 News. Now, you have been training hard for your zero-G marathon. Can you give us an idea, though, what toll microgravity has taken on your body? And if you were to fly back to London on Sunday, do you think you'd make it the entire way around the course here on Earth's gravity?
Well, that's a good question, Tom. I think that to run a marathon after spaceflight, yes, you could do it. You could probably do it after 6 months. My ESA colleague, Luca Parmitano, he ran an Ironman within a year of returning from space. But certainly, you know, within a week of returning from space, no, I think that would probably be a step too far. We do need a period of rehabilitation in order to acclimatize back to Earth's gravity. I'm very used to running up here now. I probably run with about 75% of my body weight, and I've got a harness system here I can show you. So this is what keeps me strapped to the treadmill when I run, and these chains connect to a bungee system, and that keeps me on the treadmill, and it gives me the weight bearing that I need on my legs to stimulate those muscles and to make sure that we don't lose too much muscle mass and that we don't lose too much bone density. And it's the stimulation of running and weight training that actually prevents us from doing that. So we do stay in pretty good shape up here now.
Channel 4 News. Excuse me. Reuters TV. Reuters? Okay. SN TV. Bear with us, Tim.
Hi, Tim. This is James, SNTV. I was just wondering what sort of time you think you'll be getting. Sorry if I've missed that on social media, but just curious to know what sort of time you'll be posting.
Hi, James. Yeah, I've been doing my longer runs at about steady 7.5 miles per hour, and I'm quite confident that I'll be able to keep that going for the whole 26.2 miles. So that's my intention, is to do it somewhere between 3.5 to 4 hours. If I'm feeling really good, then I'd like to try and break 3.5 hours. Not so good, and it might be a little bit over 4, but somewhere in that kind of ballpark. And I've got a great team of people who have been helping me train for this marathon back at the European Space Agency, and they're going to be monitoring me throughout the run, and they'll be helping me with my pace setting. They'll obviously be monitoring my cardiovascular system as well, and really making sure that everything goes to plan on the day.
We've got many Twitter followers of the London Marathon this year, and we've been asking them to put questions to you. One has been selected, which is going to be read out by Alison Hamlet. Alison.
Hi, Tim. Alison here. Our Twitter followers would like to know what you're going to have for breakfast before you take on the Digital Virgin Money London Marathon on Sunday.
Okay, thank you. So, let's go.
Hi, Alison. A good question. And, you know, I haven't really decided, but I do need to decide quite soon because our breakfast tends to run out quite quickly. So I might need to go in there and kind of take the packets out and reserve them for Sunday morning. But maybe some baked beans, sausage and egg fairly early on. You certainly don't want to be running up here on a full stomach. It needs to be at least 2 to 3 hours after you've eaten. Of course, food in microgravity, it doesn't settle very well. It just stays floating around in your stomach. So I'll have an early breakfast so I'm ready to run later in the day.
Associated Press?
Hi, Tim. Rob Harris from the Associated Press. How important has sport been to you while up there, both in staying in touch with the real world or the world below you, and to communicate and to engage with your colleagues up there? I suppose apart from on Monday, watching those 4 goals go in against Stoke?
Yeah, you know, it's been very important sport on a number of different levels. In terms of personal training, you know, working out up here is a great thing to do at the end of the day. We float around in all the tasks we do. Although we're very, very busy up here, we're not doing much physical work or hard work, unless it's something like a spacewalk, of course. So it's nice at the end of the day to be able to get on the treadmill, to go onto our exercise machine, lift weights and do our strength training and keep ourselves in good shape. It's very good for the sort of psychological feeling, as well as obviously maintaining our muscles and our bones for return to Earth. Also, I think it's really good in communicating to kids about the importance of staying fit and healthy. And we've had a few really good challenges. For example, the Mission X Challenge and the Space to Earth Challenge, which are currently going on, have engaged thousands of children around the world in the importance of good nutrition and in working out and keeping fit. So I think all of these links to sporting activities and fitness and nutrition have been really important throughout the mission.
So time is short. Press Association, next. Okay, no press association. In that case, Tim, I'm going to open it up to the room. We've got about 80 or 90 people in the room, and we'll try and make these questions very concise. Any raised arms for a question to Tim? Coming up, Tim.
Hi, Tim. It's Ian Sample on The Guardian here. What's been the toughest part of your training for the marathon so far?
Hi, Ian. The toughest part's been getting used to this harness system. It's not very comfortable to run in. It's like running with a clumsy rucksack on. It tugs and pulls in different directions, and it causes chafing around the hips and around the shoulders. I've kind of worn it in now, and I've got used to it, and I've got it into a position where I'm happy to run the marathon on Sunday. But that's been quite tough to get used to.
Yes, Chris.
Hi, Tim. Chris Dennis from BBC Radio here. We all know that refueling, taking on board liquid and possibly food during a marathon is so important. How on earth are you going to take on fuel on board on Sunday?
That's a good point, Chris. I've got a few energy gels that I sent up, and I'll be taking those. And of course, I'll have plenty of these things, which I'm going to Velcro next to me, just drinking water pouches out of a straw. And so that will help me keep me going throughout the race.
Yes, Mark.
Mark Butler, BBC Statistics. You mentioned you'd run a marathon before. How many marathons have you run before, and what's your personal best on Earth?
That was the only time I ran a marathon before, in 1999, and I did it in about 3 hours, just over 3 hours, 15 minutes. I've always enjoyed running, though, all my life. I've always enjoyed long-distance running, but probably not marathon distance. I like kind of half-marathon distance. I run 10K, you know, at least 2 times a week, if not 3 times a week normally. That's my kind of preferred distance.
Okay, Tim, I'm afraid it's going to have to be the last question.
Hi, Tim. It's Tom Clark again here from Channel 4 News. ISS missions are all about science. Are we going to learn anything? Is it going to answer any scientific questions, your marathon? And will that contribute to new missions like those taking men to the moon, Mars, and beyond?
Well, we're not doing any specific science connected to the marathon. Of course, our physiological state, though, is very carefully monitored before flight, during flight, and after flight. And the training that I've been doing for the marathon will actually contribute, obviously, to my physiological state for when I return. So although we're not kind of gaining any specific science based on the London Marathon, of course, when I come back to planet Earth and I go through my rehabilitation and we compare that to the kind of exercise and the training that I've been doing versus other astronauts have been doing, we can always learn things about how to prepare the body better for spaceflight and for coming back to either planet Earth or a Mars gravity environment, for example. So there's certainly plenty of very beneficial things to be learnt.
Tim, we have about 1 minute to go. Do you have any particular message for the hashtag Team Astronaut or the tens of thousands running on Sunday, the hashtag 1 in a million runners?
Yeah, just to say, a huge congratulations to everybody taking part. Good luck on Sunday. I'm really proud to be running up here on the Digital Virgin Money London Marathon alongside everybody who will be back there in London City, hopefully enjoying the sunshine. I'll be watching from up here. And thank you to everybody who supported me. I'm really proud to be running for the Prince's Trust. And thank you to everyone who's going to be working on a Sunday from the European Space Agency to help me run this race and who have supported me throughout all of my training.
Station, this is Houston ACR. That concludes the event. Thank you.
Thank you, European Space Agency and media. Station, we are now resuming operational audio communications.